Hello, everyone. Thanks for your time today. My name is Smita. I'm a product management director on G Suite.
And I'm Ajay. I'm a product manager on G Suite.
And we are here today to talk to you about telephony in G Suite. Thank you. So the mission for G Suite is to offer intelligent productivity applications that transform organizations. We launched Gmail way back in 2004. We actually launched it on April Fool's Day. We followed with Google Docs in 2006. But with increasing number of remote workers are projected to be 50 to 75% of the workforce by 2020. Lately, we have turned our attention to communication applications and services. Within the last year, and we have had several sessions on these already, we launched Hangouts Meet and Hangouts Chat. So more than 4 million businesses that are using G Suite can collaborate and communicate more effectively. But there is one area which we have not tackled yet. So by a show of hands, how many people in this room had to get on a call, say, within the last week or so? And it's a large percentage of the room. And that makes sense. There are more than 8 billion phones in the world today. There are more phones than the number of people. Phones continue to be the most universal way for us to talk and connect, whether it's to our colleagues, customers, friends, or family. So Google started in the telephony business more than 10 years ago. So we have been at it for quite some time. In 2007, we acquired a company called Grand Central. And the goal with Grand Central acquisition was to modernize telephony. We wanted to provide users with a single free phone number that they could use from anywhere. We wanted users to be able to make international calls affordably and cheaply. Grand Central became what you know as Google Voice today. Google Voice launched on web and Android in 2009. This is what Google Voice looked like at that time. As you can see, it looks very different from the applications you see today. But if you're looking at it and you are thinking that this looks like the way Gmail used to look way back when it launched, that was actually a design choice. And we made this design choice because we wanted for users to be able to navigate their calls and messages just as easily as they navigate their emails. In 2010, we launched on iOS. So now we were on iOS, Android, as well as web. Not too far apart, could have been a few days apart. It was there on iOS as well now. In 2011, we started using Google Voice for calling directly within Gmail. And we launched this in 30+ countries. So users all over the world were now able to make calls easily within Gmail and take advantage of the international rates that we offered. In 2015, Project Fi launched, which is a mobile carrier. And this uses the same infrastructure which Google Voice uses. In 2017, we completely revamped all of our Google Voice clients applications. We did this on web, iOS, and Android. And Google Voice continues to grow. There are millions and millions of users now using Google Voice, and they're very happy with it. So we do want to show you the product in a few minutes. But before I show you the product, I want to ask one more question. How many of you here work on phone systems in your organization? And if you do work on the phone systems, how many of you have seen your phone server rooms, and do they look something like this? At least a few, quite a few. That's great. So if you raise your hand and you say, it's looking like this, you are not alone. this slide and the previous slide show actual photos of PBX rooms or phone server rooms the way they used to look like at Google. So as Google was growing, and Google has grown a lot in the last decade or so, we realized we needed to do something different. So in 2012, we started a project called Google Voice for Googlers. The goal for the project was to move Google Telephony to the cloud. So we have been at it for a few years. And the project has been really successful. At this point, 80% of our phone calls are being made using Google Voice. 97% of our on-premise infrastructure is decommissioned. Every Googler, when they join Google, get a Google Voice number. 80,000 Googlers are using Google Voice at this time. So as you can see, we have been working on Google Voice. We have been testing it out. We have been deploying it inside Google. And that's the same approach which we have taken for many of our products, including Gmail. Google Cloud Network today is powering millions of phone numbers and billions of phone calls. So we are ready to scale. And that is why, and for those of you who were in the keynote heard it already, we are very pleased to announce that starting today, we are making a smart, scalable, simple telephony system available in the cloud for enterprises. Thank you. Thank you. You will be able to sign up for the early adopter program starting today. The form opened this morning, and we are already seeing a lot of sign-ups coming in. So yes, so we are looking forward to working with you. So with Google Voice, G Suite completes its communication offerings, and we'll continue to evolve them. We have a lot of work to do here. It joins Hangouts Meet, which is for high-definition video meetings. It joins Hangouts Chat for enterprise communications, Hangouts Meet Hardware, which is a way to scale, deploy meeting rooms, and then Jamboard, which is a product for global real-time brainstorming. All of these products have been designed to be on the cloud from day one. They are native to the cloud, and Google Voice is no different. So with that, I'm going to invite Ajay, who is going to tell you more about the product.
Thanks, Smita. I'm really excited. I've been a Google Voice user for many years myself, so I'm really excited to have been working on this product for the last year. As we outlined earlier, Google Voice is available on Android, iOS, and web. And as we bring it to G Suite, we're going to be adding support for desk phones as well. And we really think, being born in the cloud, this is the right foundation for a product meant to serve today's workers, where people are no longer sitting at their desk. They're working from home. They're traveling. They're working with colleagues across the world. So Voice truly gives you a number that's not tied to a device, so you can access it from anywhere. Voice puts users in control to let them customize and tailor the product to suit their needs. For example, they can choose which devices to ring when they get incoming calls. They can even have calls sent to other phone numbers, such as their home numbers. And the underlying point here is that customizing a product is only truly possible by the users that use them. And IT admins can benefit from features like this to save time. We all know that IT resources at big organizations are in short supply. Speaking of being in control, Voice puts users in control over the resource that's most precious to all of us, our time. Voice integrates with Google Calendar so that you can have calls automatically sent to voicemail when you're out of office or not working. And since no one, or almost no one, I should say, likes listening to voicemail, Voice has best-in-class built-in transcription so you don't have to listen to it. Voicemail transcripts are delivered right to all of the Google Voice apps. You can even have voicemail transcripts sent directly to your Gmail inbox. As internet-based and VoIP-based calling services become more and more common, so is the incidence of spam and robocalls. And a lot of times when you see an unknown phone number, it's annoying and you don't want to pick it up. So voice has built-in smart spam detection, powered by Google's AI, of course, and which means it's getting better over time. This technology is shared with our mobile carrier, Project Fi, which Smita outlined earlier. It's also shipped on millions of Android devices along with our phone app. And the user experience you see in Google Voice is pretty similar to what you might expect or you might have seen in Gmail. If we detect that a phone call is spam, the user never has to interact with it, and it goes directly to voicemail. And finally, as we bring Google Voice into G Suite, what we're trying to do is bring context into phone calls so users can stay more productive. So we're starting this with Hangouts Meet. When meetings call a Google Voice user, we'll include important details from the meeting, such as the meeting title, on the caller ID, so you're prepared before you pick up that important phone call. So we've talked a little bit about the user experience. Let's jump into how voice is managed. Just like the rest of G Suite, the admin console consolidates everything about the voice service: user management, number management, porting, reporting, and subscription management. And the best part is you can provision a single user or your entire organization just as easily as adding users to G Suite. Smita talked earlier about how many phone numbers there are out there and the fact that telephony is not new. We all use phones today. That means migrating to cloud means you have important business processes that might be set up around these phone numbers in your organizations. So we're thinking hard about this and making sure that as you move to cloud, these processes don't get interrupted and your transition is seamless. So to summarize, before we jump into a demo, voice is simple, smart, and scalable. For admins, the G Suite admin console consolidates everything about managing the service, and it's consistent with the way you manage all of your other G Suite applications. End users get a user experience that's consistent with the other apps they're already using at work, and they can tailor and customize the product to suit their workflows. Voice is smart. We have Google AI-powered spam filtering and voicemail transcription built in. And we're trying to leverage the best of Google's intelligence and machine learning to make the product even better for users. When we're starting with integrations with Hangouts Meet and Calendar, but there's a lot more to come. Finally, voice is scalable. We take on the heavy lifting of letting you provision and manage the service across your organization so you don't have to. And with permission, you can even let users set the service up themselves, for example, by choosing a phone number independently. So we've talked a lot about it. Let's jump into a demo.
Let's do it, yeah. OK, so we'll switch to demo, please. OK, great. So we are going to start by showing you the administrator experience, and Ajay referred to this earlier. So what you're looking at right now is the G Suite admin console. So this should look familiar to those of you who are used to G Suite administration. And Google Voice administration is inbuilt into this. So that's where you go to manage the entire voice experience. So the users you're looking at over here have already been set up with the Google Voice service. And Ajay, let's show how numbers can be provisioned. So let's start with me, Smita. And Ajay is going to provision me. So all he did was he clicked on the account, and he clicks on that, and a number is assigned automatically. If he wanted, he could have changed that number, but he doesn't need to. The other piece of information he's entering is the emergency address. No, I don't live at Google, but I don't want to put my home address over here. But it does validate it in line, and now you can see that I'm set up. And that's it. What will happen now is I'll get an email telling me what my phone number is, and it'll tell me that I need to go and get the Google Voice clients on whichever device I want, and then I'm ready to go with a work number which I have been provisioned with. So this was for a single user, and let us show how it works for multiple users. Okay, so as you can see, Ajay selected multiple users. He could have selected as many as he wanted. And then when he clicks on it, he can, again, provision them really easily as he would provision a single user. So Ajay, let's also show some of the other functionality. Let's show the batch assignment as well. OK, so here Ajay is going to go into batch assign, which lets you provision a whole spreadsheet of users at the same time. So this is powered by Google Sheets. We provide a template. And let's show you that template. So what you are looking at over here is a sheet which Ajay had previously, he had put a set of users and their addresses, and he had submitted it. There were errors in the sheet. So the cool thing is that automatically the system reports back in the sheet what the errors are. And he can edit and correct these errors, and he can submit the same sheet back. So it's a very simple process for an administrator to go and set up larger number of users and be able to correct any errors they might have made in the process. We are also working on APIs for provisioning, so those will also be available over time. There's one more function. Let's also show, Ajay had mentioned earlier that if administrators want, they can let users select their phone numbers themselves if they choose to do so, and thus saving some of their own time in the process. And so what Ajay did over here was he clicked on the send invite, and these are users that have not been provisioned with their phone numbers. And once he does that, then at that point, invitations are sent out. And unlike the mail which I would have received because Ajay had provisioned my number, in this case, users go into the voice application and they're prompted to select their own number. So again, if you want, you can give that control or functionality to the user. So it's up to the administrator and save your own time, and users can do that. OK, so that was a look at all the ways you can provision users and how you can do them very simply and easily within the G Suite administrative console. This is also the one-stop shop where you'll go to port numbers. So as an organization, everyone already has phone numbers, so you can port them here. This is also where you will go to look at reports, manage the users. So this is going to be a one-stop shop for managing all of the voice services, all in the cloud, all as part of the G Suite admin console. So let's switch and show the client functionality or the end user functionality. So here is what you're looking at is the employee experience, which is what your users will see. So here you're looking at the web application. So this is, as you can see, it's a full experience. You see calls, you see messages, you see voicemail. So you have all of that. Let's look at the settings. So we can show how users can customize their experience using Google Voice. So within settings, and again, as Ajay had mentioned, users can set up voice the way they want to use it. And because it's in the cloud, they have a lot of flexibility. So here, what you can see is that Ajay has multiple devices set up. So he has web, he has a couple of Android devices. If he wanted, he could have had an iOS device as well. So he can set up as many devices as he wants. And on all of these devices, he'll be able to make calls as well as receive calls. Then for further customization, or for further setting up voice in the way he wants it, he could choose to forward voice to any phone number. So for example, he could choose, and you see there's a forwarding phone number set up. And I'm told it's his girlfriend's number, so we shouldn't be calling there. But anyway, so so that has been set up where things can be forwarded. So this could be his home phone number. If I'm at home, then it can be forwarded there. So let us, let's go ahead and record a voicemail greeting.
Hi, this is Ajay. We have just launched Voice. I'll be on vacation for the next week, so direct all questions to Smita.
Okay, yeah. I'm glad I know. but, yeah, but Ajay has worked very, very hard on this launch. He deserves to go on his vacation, so he can go ahead. This can become one of his standard greetings. And because voice is on the cloud, he can save multiple greetings, and he can switch between away mode and home mode or any other mode he wants at any time. So there, so he's set up. So Ajay has worked hard, and the last thing which he wants is when he's out, he does not want me to call him. Or if I call him, he doesn't want to pick up the call. So luckily, voice is integrated. Google Voice comes with integration with Google Calendar, which means that he can set up his Google Voice to follow his calendar settings. So calendar, so he can set up so that Google Voice can follow his out-of-office settings as well as his working hours. So at this time, if someone tries to call him, the call is going to go to voicemail. His phones are not going to ring. So as you can see with Google Voice, then your users can disconnect when they need to and refresh themselves, getting the much-needed work-life balance which they need. Yeah, so I think that's what we wanted to show on the web client. Shall we go and switch to the Wolf Vision now and show the Android client? Yeah, OK. So let us switch to the Wolf Vision. OK, we are here. So what you're looking at over here is an Android client. And the thing to note over here is this is the same phone which Ajay has for his personal use. So like all of us, Ajay does not want to carry two phones, one for personal use and one for work use. But he does want two separate phone numbers, one for work use and one for his personal use. So with Google Voice, you can do that. And as you can imagine, that the Google Voice application which you're looking at comes with full enterprise functionality. So Ajay can search the company directory. And here he found me. And this is the number which he had just provisioned. So it works pretty fast. So he found me, and I'm over here. We're not going to make a call using the number right now. But I do want to note that in the background, we share a lot of the technologies which for calling with Google Meet, with Hangouts Meet. So which means that highest quality codec is going to be selected, which is available to both endpoints at any time. We share technologies for network congestion, packet. Oh, OK. So, and we are getting a call. And the call is a Hangouts Meet call, which is launch review. We are launched. So the team did not get the memo. We are going to ignore the call. But this is an example of how Hangouts Meet integrates with Google Voice. So you saw the Google Calendar integration, and this is the Hangouts Meet integration. And as you can see, because the caller ID showed the name of the meeting, users now have this context. When they're picking up their phone call, they know which meeting is calling them, so they are more prepared, and they can save precious time. And they know what they are getting into, so they don't have to jump into a big meeting without knowing it's actually a meeting calling them, or if it's an important meeting and they see the name of the meeting, they know they should pick it up and they should respond to it. So that was a quick look at Google Voice, the administrative interface, as well as the user experience. And I hope some of this is illustrating to you how with Google Voice, you can make your organizations more productive. You can give your employees the control which they need, and how you can manage your telephony solution in a very simple and scalable way. So with that, I'm going to invite Ajay back again to take control of the presentation. And he's going to talk to you about what we have been doing in terms of testing, as well as how to sign up for the beta and the roadmap ahead.
Thank you, Smita, again. So we're excited to tell you that all the functionality you saw, a lot of the functionality you've seen has been in testing with our early customers since last October. And we'd like to thank all of the customers for giving us feedback during this process. As a product team, it really helps us learn how you deploy the service and from your use cases, which helps us build a better product for you, our customers. So I wanted to share a little bit of the feedback we've been hearing. And of course, we welcome additional feedback as we open up EAP starting today. Dow Jones was one of our early customers. They've been on the product since October. They actually were using Google Voice in an office even before we started making the service a managed product that you see today. And they were excited about the consistency that Google Voice has brought to their telephony. Nielsen started using it around the same time, and they experienced benefits in quality and reliability to the extent that they've decided to leverage voice as a standard for remote worker telephony across their company. And the final one I wanted to highlight is Portland State University. We know that education is a big use case for G Suite, and we have tons and tons of education customers, and we wanted to make sure we listened carefully to feedback to ensure that we are catering to unique use cases in the education space. So thank you to all these customers who have given us feedback. So EAP signups start today, and we will be providing numbers in 10 countries. And this is just a start. Voice, we intend for Voice to be a global service, so we'll be incrementally expanding to additional countries in stages. To talk a little bit about pricing, Voice will be subscription-based on top of G Suite. We'll have multiple tiers that are priced per seat per month. We'll have per-minute calling rates as we do today with Google Voice, as well as calling packages that group sets of countries and minutes together. You'll also be able to purchase additional numbers, such as toll-free numbers, if you need that. The EAP sign-up, the beta program that starts today, is free of charge, and we'll start billing at general availability. Jumping a little bit into the roadmap, the left-hand column that you see today pretty much summarizes what you've seen from the product overview and the demo we just walked through. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about our GA in spring and then directionally after later in 2019. Our major focuses for GA are starting PBX functionality. We'll start rolling out auto attendant and desk phone support. And the other big piece will be making Google Voice a core service. So it will come with the same SLA that you're used to with the rest of G Suite. And that's when billing will start. In the second half of the year, we'll continue to expand the feature set we include in our PBX, so starting with ring groups and support for more phones. The other major piece we'll be focusing on is that we know for larger organizations, you need flexibility and capability to manage the service at scale, so we'll be adding administration and provisioning APIs over time as well.